Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let's Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to see you, Step Zero. Good to see you, Quackspot. Good to see you, Kit. And Quackspot, you have tried to usurp the crown of Firstendom this day, but Step Zero, you have won it, and it is the crown, just like the crown on your teeth since you're at the dentist. My goodness, is it tooth hurty already? And Chicken Junkie, good to see you, Prey Herd. We will be continuing in Minecraft today, so let's go ahead. Let me load up the server. That sounds like a fun marathon stream to watch, Quacksplat. All right, so last time we were working on this little Byzantine church. Wait, it didn't work. Hey, good luck. Good luck to you. I off camera did raise the sanctuary up a level, but that's all I did. I did also gather a bunch of materials. Oh, you watched it before? Nice. So we'll need some of
the French.
Hey, Anonymous, thank you for the gift sub to Quacksplat. I did lower the volumes on the alerts ever so slightly. That's all we'll need for now. Yeah, I'm sure there are some very touching ones in there, and I'm sure there's also somewhere I'm like where they're probably like, huh, that was weird. Okay, so after this layer of glass is where we'll begin the archway. You know, the singular brain cell was my personally most used emote. We're also going to have to put a table of preparation there, but we'll worry about internal decorations later. You were born in 1973, so you have a different sense of sentimental nostalgia. Ah, that would track. A chainsaw? Such a cut up. What? That's about the nerd. Well, it just came out just like I was constantly in chats and making the joke, oh, same brain cell. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make an emote of the same brain cell. Okay, so if we consider this, so the circle is 4L4, basically. So we can consider this in a couple different ways. We can consider, since it is already 4, we can just immediately go up. Or we can do 1, 2 up, which I don't really want to do. Yeah, I think we're just going to count it as the 4. I think I forgot to pack scaffolding. So that would be kind of... It should be 1, 2. Is that not lining up right? Oh, because the end of the archway would be there. Okay, that does line up. Which would then mean... So this is going to be the log as the support beam. So this portion doesn't have to match that quite the same way. It's going to be a fairly low poly resolution, I guess. So it's not going to be like as defined as a as like that dome, just because of size. Liturgically appropriate meat. Oh, was it purple? I missed it. I was focusing on dome. So what we'll do is we'll keep this going into the center, and it'll kind of connect up with that one. Or was it white? Because today's feast day, it would be white. Hey, love. Hey, you're most welcome. We'll have that out in the mail shortly. Congrats to Love who won the second giveaway. He was seasonally appropriate. Actually, no, I don't want this here, come to think of it, because we're going to... Ow. We will be building a dome up here. Not just any dome, an onion dome. So in order to do that, we need to map out where everything goes. So I believe we want the circle. I think we want the circle ends to go over these lines, like the initial one. Oh dear, something is off. There we go. So how wide is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 wide. So this is the same. So it should just be the same pattern. Hey, Liz. We're gonna need some more spruce logs, though. Grab a few more, just to make sure we have enough to complete this first circle. So how the onion dome will work, W music, is the W what music, or is the W like wind music? Because I do quite like run Galenas' stuff. Win, nice. Yeah, no, it's nice and chill. And it's royalty free. Hey, Peter. What is music? Oh. Oh, Peter. Music is like... Okay, you know that feeling when you're playing Factorio? That's how most people are responding to music, and music is like an auditory version of Factorio for them. Three, four. Can't agree because you've never played Factorio. You should play Factorio. Please don't play Factorio. It's very addicting. In that stream where P, Tony, and music got brought up in terms of emotional influence. Nope. That I can safely say. I was not there. That's the one that needs to be broken there. I mentioned how Plato Pythagoras warned about the dangers of music. Well, you know. Art can incite many things. music orphaned your brother. Wait, hold on. Factorio was more fun when your brother was playing it with me. Yeah, that would be it. Fair. Good to see you, Chizo. Okay, so this should be... Oh, okay. No. Oh, this is... Oh, no, but we need it on top of that. Okay, okay, I see what's going on. Oh, that's weird. I have set this up in a confusing way. But we live here now, so, you know. Icons. You want to talk about icons? Place that one there yet. Father Evan's stream is iconic. Well, thank you for recognizing that. I take my inspiration from the Iconics. There's a wrestling duo. Yeah, see what I did is I set everything here, but the windows are at that height, so they needed something over them. So essentially the archway exists properly on the inside, but not on the outside, and this one's wrong. I'm just gonna fix this really quickly and create. Don't look, chat. Is that how icons work? Yeah, sure. You take your inspiration from the Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention? More like Geneva Suggestion. I kid. I was your 5th most watched streamer. Hey! I didn't make it to your top 5, Otto? Well, you gotta try harder for next year. Am I doing mine or the Cobblemon one? This is currently mine. We will be switching over to the Cobblemon one when I'm done with this particular project for a bit. Which probably won't be for today. Or just like the tail end, but that is the plan. Take your knee. No, not kneecaps. Those things have no value on the open market. I mean, I think it was all the Expedition 33. Expedition 33. Expedition 33 dominated my Spotify Wrapped. My #1 artist was Lorien Tostad. And Spotify was like, oh, it's a special message from your top artist. It was all in French. And I'm like, great, thanks, Spotify. Peter, quit threatening people in my chat. You can threaten people in your chat. Oh, amazing soundtrack. I have listened to it so much. This is wrong. But it straight up came in at my #2 most listened album of the year. And I didn't start listening to it until September. Now you're going after people's livers, Peter? I'm going to tell Yenza on you. Buddy, that's your wife. You just remember Yenza? I would believe that, but also, I don't think Yenza would want to steal Liz's liver. Why is live a part of the word liver? Ooh, good question. Is it coincidence? Hey, dear Hope. Stop spreading us out to our wives. No. I'm telling Neb. You didn't even do anything, and I'm telling Neb. Never liked eating liver. Yeah, it's kind of chalky. Anyway, good to see you, Calmage. How is Neb and Mini Mage? Chonky or Chalky? Chalky, the second one. Chalky. Chewy. Yeah, valid. Okay, so here's kind of what I'm thinking for the Onion Dome. So any of the open spots get filled in. But for the Onion Dome, we'll bring this up by like 2 blocks, maybe even just 1, and then kind of bloom it out, and then do a dome on top of the dome. It's going to be kind of pointed upwards, like it's going to be extruded. Stepped by work an hour ago with the baby. Aw, he's very popular. I imagine he would be. You're a top 2% fan of Harry Seller. See, I turned on the setting specifically around Ron Galinas here. Trying to point to it like I can reach out of my window. Life and liver come from the Proto-Indo-European through the Germanic line. Huh. But do they come from the same root? TwitchMod does not like something you're writing. Same pi root. Okay. Yeah, no, I intentionally have it turned off so that Ron Galinas does not show up in my Spotify sort of history, and therefore doesn't show up and affect my my Wrapped. Oh, you're posting the links? Ah, okay. Yeah, links are auto-turned off in my chat. Turned off. Is your name Link? Kia? Yeah, so boop boop. Father Heaven hates Zelda. Yeah, I hate Zelda so much. Me, known Zelda hater, you know it. Oh, I know what's going on. It's the same thing that's happening on the sides. I potentially should have raised this all up by 1, but I kind of like the squatness of it where it is now, actually. Zelda's just a cheap copy of Kingdom Hearts. Is this why Zelda showed up in Kingdom Hearts we have at home? Why you hate Zelda? Link is Catholic. Well, Link is Christian. But I still maintain that it's probably not an intentional choice regarding faith. And more just, symbol, light. Through just clumping together to stick or to adhere. Also for fat. Well, that makes sense. And fatty liver and all that. Cool. No, I'm one shy. Need a forever crucifix? Fair. What if he... But again, I don't know. It seems like one of those where it's more culturally they were just like, wait, cool symbol that goes with knights, but... How would clumping relate? Congregate matter. Places of life are places of clumping together. all four. Look at the stew chicken's a cow, a horse, and a sheep just stuck in a little hole. Yeah, I feel like congruent matter makes sense. Yeah, I've heard of that where there's like a whole like people want a Western wedding, including like a priest presiding at it. It doesn't matter if it's not an actual priest. To which many of the local parishes are constantly annoyed. You'd like to think Link is Catholic, and you can think that. I cannot take that from you. You like to think. Yeah, you like to play Factorio. The game requires lots of thinky. Yeah, Roxy with a 20 watch streak. That's pretty awesome. How you doing, Roxy? How is that? Oh, because that's only 3 right there. That's why this... Ah, okay. Yeah, I really should have moved this all up one. I screwed up, but oh well. I think the what was more to the you living there portion. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Probably... pretty simply, honestly. You know, I'm gonna build this wall up. I don't mind the doorway kind of standing out because it's the doorway. What's the dome of the day? The dome of the day is an onion dome, and it's gonna go right here. I kind of like that, the dome of the day. Like, it's, you're going to a restaurant and it's like, yeah, what's the dome of the day, Dolores? Wait, what? Okay, yeah, no, that was there. Does that not feel right? Because it's not. Why is it not? It's supposed to be like that. Okay, let's do a little thing on the iconostasis here for a moment. For that, I have spruce fences. I have spruce logs. That should help. Need it. Nope, I don't want oak fence. I want spruce fence. Yeah, the state around the use of certain other cultural symbols in Japan is fascinating. But right there. Seal that wall up all the way. And then what I want to do is I want to put this spruce fence kind of across the top of the iconostasis. Boom. Can't suppose there's a Dicey's trying to combat it. I mean, they might be, but think of how small their presence is. Combat, sign me up! I don't know if you're combat ready, Peter. Maybe we'll let the ex-military dude in chat decide. Fight out in the Onion Dome. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday in the Onion Dome. Starting a fighting ring? No. Although there were parishes that used to have boxing matches in the basement. Not saying I support this, I'm just saying it is historically a thing that happened. So are we fighting? Oh no, Hope's influence has gotten too big. Everyone wants to fight now. Combat at the Onion Dome. I think not, but anyway. Yeah, phone keyboards have been leading to interesting sentences since their inception. My dad used to do basically a comedy column online, and one of his earliest essays in like 2007 was about that, and the way that the autocorrect on his BlackBerry made him say, "I'd be delighted to join you for lunch." Okay, so here's how we're gonna onion this dome, I think. We're just gonna kind of give it a little chimney and go swoop. At least it's not T9. Man, I got so fast at T9 as a teenager. You were a teenager? I know. Sorry, I just scandalized you all. Okay, so this. So I think what we'll do. So right now, this is 10. So this would be 12. We might go out to 14, but just like do it as a floating point, if that makes sense. So like start there. Shout out to Omni Calculator. They have a Minecraft circle generator. So it's pretty easy. It's basically 6 wide and then 3 sets of 1. And then So it's basically 333. You always go to Donut Studios. Oh, I came across Omni Calculator, and that's the one I use. Although I might need to use something a little different for the actual oniony portion of the dome. Voxel's what you use for 3D things. Okay, that might actually... Whoop. Might need to use that. Jam out. Nice. Picks up watching Fry UK builds. Oh, okay. I feel like I've heard the name, but that's about it. Okay, I'm going to jump into creative to just workshop this. Because I kind of need to... Okay, so that's kind of what a regular dome would look like. Fire, not fry. Oh, well, I mean... I could still see fry being... It sounds like a British name. Okay, so that's kind of what a regular dome would look like. So maybe to onion dome it. Kind of need to of the fry into the fire. Sure. What if we kind of did that? Have I been to the dome? Okay, the dome could mean lots of things to lots of people. That's pear, not an onion. Well, I'm working on it. Well, thank you for the feedback, but what would you like to make it more... See, you have to remember that the bottom is part of it. Oh, he's stuck by his forehead. Shots fired. Oof. Which dome are you referring to, CalMage? Never recover from this. The Duomo. Oh, no. No, I have not been to the Duomo. I have not been to Florence, period. Only 2 places in Italy I've been outside of Rome and the greater Roman metropolitan area, because I will include the beach. What is that town? Anyway, I'll include all of that as Rome. Is Assisi and Pescara. I love Pescara, and I really want to go back. It looks so tranquil. I need to get into the business of pilgrimages. That's how you see Italy. I tried putting one together for the pilgrimage for the Holy Year for young adults, but it just did not come together in time, and there wasn't enough sort of financial buy-in to make it feasible. Because retreats are cool, don't get me wrong, but like sometimes retreats are just like come out to Hoboken. Only some shade to Hoboken. I've done cruise ship chaplaincy, which can take you a lot of fun places. That's pretty fun too. It'd be nice. You can just be the deacon. New Yorkers and your feelings about New Jersey. Look, I have feelings about New Jersey, but particularly Hoboken. Yeah, one of my brothers before he passed away was huge in leading pilgrimages all over the world. And without sounding rude, he was not in great physical health, and you'd always wonder, it's like you're going on all these trips to like Greece and all these places, and he just comes back, and it's like you hear how he went across all these places. Like, dude, what? Seeing the world before he passes, yeah. I mean, he had already seen the world when he was younger and healthier too, so like that wasn't necessarily like what was holding back. It was just, you know, he talked about going on a pilgrimage, and you're like, oh, is he gonna come home? And he did. It's one of those where you're like, you're not the... If I had just met you off the street as some random guy, you're not the one I would expect to be leading these pilgrimages. Crab Rangoon Pizza is back. I did not hear. It's a shame I'm 2,000 miles from it. I guess I'll just have to suffer with my subpar New York pizza. Come hang out. I will! Very soon! Yeah, I'm coming home for Christmas. I thought I had told Gale this. I apologize if I had not. So Takayama, yeah, he's cool dude. I mean, I could also see a world where I just forgot. But anyway. Sugarcane, because we're going to need some books to make lecterns and things. Guess we could actually make now. Okay, lectern does need a bookshelf. Let's make a bunch of paper. Make a bunch of books. Need 2 bookshelves. Some slabs. A couple lecterns. He had to, no, that is demonstrably not true. Is strongly encouraged. Justo is nice. Yeah, you can call him Justin. Anyway, we have a little stand here for the where an icon would go to be venerated when you enter. There's a word for that stand in Greek, and I forget what it is. Although, if you did just name your child just... I don't know how to pronounce it in Japanese, but Justo, knowing where you are, he'd probably get called Justo. He'd get called Justice, which is a bad thing. You could name a daughter Grace and just say, you know, she's named after Grace. Grace itself. Okay, gotta go put in a table of preparation. That over there. That over there. I'll just extend it like that so that there's not like this awkward gap. I'm gonna go grab some wool. It's named after a saint, a real rule. It's not. Like, if you're going to take a confirmation name, if you're going to take a Christian name, like when you convert as an adult or when you get confirmed, yeah, it has to be, but I'm fairly certain in all of my theological studies that that is not a required thing for baptism, especially of an infant. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert in canon law. I used to have so much red dye just making the opera house that now I don't have any. can't make it with redstone, can you? No. That's what I thought. Yeah, it is encouraged, that's for sure. That is absolutely for sure. But I don't... Ah. Well, that might do it then. You have what we call extenuating circumstances. By the way, as a quick heads up, tomorrow's stream will probably be about half an hour late. I have to meet with the general council, the leadership team of my community, to talk about the progress on the Young Adult Project. I don't need that much red carpet. I just need enough to cover the altar, which will be a bit of an anachronism. Kind of not. Depends on what season. I guess right now red would be appropriate. That's a good question, Ariam. Not one I'm necessarily 100% sure on. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is perfect. Go get coffee. Hey, have fun. Get good coffee. Bye. You can still take a saint name at your confirmation. That's still a thing. I took the saint name Ferdinand. I should put some stairs here. But you can still just stick with your birth name. I know a priest who had the kids getting ready for confirmation. They were all lined up, and one of them had some ludicrous name on their name tag, and he's like, "You change that right now, or I'm telling the bishop your name is Mary." Like, it wasn't her birth name, like it was a chosen name, and I forget what it was, but with something that's like, yeah, it doesn't quite work. What was I gonna grab? Am I just gonna dump? Oh, right. That's what I was gonna grab. I think I just dumped because I want to make some stairs. Yeah, you encounter all sorts of interesting things as Priest. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's get some more oak planks. And then we should be able to finish the onion dome. And then we just have to kind of finish its collar. I was wondering why that one wasn't disintegrating. You like Mercurius and Dionysus, but Neb said they're too pagan. I mean, that was a problem for one of the popes. There's no need to give them a new name like Seraphim or Vladimir. Yeah. So this one's going to be constructed more like my other main domes. Or I'm just going to kind of do a series of rings. It's not going to be like that one where it was kind of a series of circles. I really like how that one turned out. If Pope can be Mercurius, so can my son! Well, but the point of the story was in some ways he couldn't be Pope Mercurius. Trouble for your saint, not much. Yeah, if they're from the gospel, I mean, they may have a lot of legends, but they may not exactly have a biography. Yeah, like Father Evan, there's a lot of legends, but no official biography. Darn tootin'. If I had it my way, there would be no official biography. Only legends whispered upon. With great trepidation. Your favorite legends, Father Heaven and the cheesy butterfly. Would you care to regale us just to inform us all. I mean, we all know the legend, but I'd love to hear your telling. So I'm going to do this layer a little different, just because I can. His Father Evan was a cheesy butterfly. Ah! So it's not Father Evan and the cheesy butterfly, it's Father Evan who is the cheesy butterfly. I think this is some apocryphal telling you're familiar with. Yeah, Little Onion Dome. Gotta finish the lower portion, but, you know. Rotata. Hey, happy feast day of St. Francis Xavier, co-founder of the Jesuits. And I think he's a really interesting foil, honestly, to his own co-founder, Ignatius of Loyola. Because in many ways, you know, Ignatius stayed and, like, formalized the community and, you know, established the rule, the regulations, and built it up. And Francis Xavier was like, okay, bye, I'm going to India. And really, the Jesuits needed both and need to look to both. Also, he has a profound impact on certain parts of cultures in Asia. I was playing a video game with friends in college once. I think it was Dokapon Kingdom, for those of you who know what that is. And one of the hairstyles you could set for your character was called the Francis X. And it's a clerical tonsure. His arm is buried separately because he baptized so many people. Yeah. A lot of saint relics wind up that way. Probably the one that weirds me out the most on that is Catherine of Siena. Old Spanish Mission Church is named after him. Hey, let's go. I love mission churches. They're really beautiful. Sadly, it's kind of in disrepair. I mean, it is what, 400 or 500 years old? Probably closer to 3 or 4, actually, but still. It ain't exactly a spring chicken of a building. Okay, so how am I going to close this up? You chose it as your confirmation saying, hey, let's go. What does a co-founder of the Legionaries mean? Because you were not alive when the Legionaries were founded, as far as I'm aware. Oh, you joined while the founder was still alive. Ah, okay. I had not heard it referred to that way. Because in our community, we refer to our co-founders as sort of the band of 5 that works most closely with Hecker. So that's just interesting. Okay, so they're very generous who got that title. It sounds it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is. Kind of want to block this in with just regular oak, I think. Built in 1690, yeah, so 330 years old. Gave a profound sense of ownership and responsibility. That's fair. That would, yeah. There we go. The inside of the Onion Dome, you can't quite see the top because of the shading. But, not a bad... Built this thing quick. This only took like 2 streams. But it's fairly small. I mean, and used mostly readily available resources, unlike many of my other builds. It's just the lighting a little bit. Very I mean, profound. I'm probably going to come back and do some work in the sanctuary space to, like, add candles and something resembling a processional cross. Maybe the tabernacle. But for today and the start of... And where I'm comfortable... I don't want to finish it or leave a project kind of, like, half-built, but... Nice little Greek cross-style Byzantine church. I like it. Let's see how it looks from the outside. Oh, that looks tall. Nice. Okay. I think the Onion Dome looks pretty oniony. It's not my best dome ever, but... I like how these spruce logs kind of create some difference and sort of show support for this whole thing. It's funny that the dome is almost like twice the size of the rest of the church. I like it. That turned out well. So let me go to the booth. So we switch gears here. And get into what I'm going to be shifting gears on Minecraft for a little while. And some of this project I will be working off screen as well. It's gotta load because it's a lot of mods. This is a server run by Kevin the Space Penguin and Halcyon Ward. On it is Bree, Inca, Kyle, Calmage, Flame, trying to remember who else. Brosif, Stella. Yes, thank you, Calmage. Yes, Stella's roommate, Ren, who's in right now. Kirk's Love, I don't know who that is. Nivek is, Kevin Breedy Bard is Breedy Bard. Anyway, I'm also one of the gym leaders. Hey, Shadow Vision. I have established for myself this cute little base. Now, why did I say gym leader? Because this is Pokemon, as well as Minecraft. So I have a Squirtle. Also have a Lechonk and an Eevee. Oh, Kirk's Love is Kyle. Okay. And Hypnos, right, and Hypnos. Anyway, I am Ice Bug type. So in this server, my character is how is it said? It's like Major Oshipkashnig. I literally put the words bug, but it's computer bug, which I found funny, and snow, and smashed them together, and that's my name. And so I'm like a bad James Bond ripoff, Soviet style. Which Pokemon do I think tastes best? It's a good question. Probably one of the bird ones. Hi there. Did you find grain and you're just sitting there? Main thing I need to do right now is establish a farm, though, because I need some food. The resolution on this is so small. So I'm gonna need a hoe. I also need a bucket, so I need a little more iron, but there's a lot of iron in these hills right here, so let's go get that. Your unofficial cat gym leader. If you beat me instead of match, I give you some strength. I love it. So yeah, so this is what we're going to be doing for a bit. So we're going to be building my gym, which, as it's bug snow type, I'm thinking kind of, you may have noticed there's like a snowy mountain. That's where the gym's going to be built. I'm thinking kind of maybe like a little parkour thing using some honey. Poetically, the best way to beat Calmage is to give him some strength. There's also a far distant render mod, so it's very, very beautiful, the landscape. There's a lot of mods. I don't know what any of them are. This is literally my first time playing modded Minecraft. It's like I don't even know how to use Cobblemon well. I'm amazed personally that this thing hasn't been shut down. Just given the owner's litigiousness. If you crouch in mine, you'll dig and cut the whole vein. Oh, that's cheating! That's not how you Minecraft. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way, just like that diner that makes the Coke. It's like Minecraft, but with plural mining. Minecraft. Yeah, and look at all these berries I can't eat. You're not allowed to eat the berries for the Pokemon. Francis Xavier was the name of college church at SLU. Hey, you're SLU alma mater. That's cool. One of my classmates went to SLU. And one of my other brothers, who's on the general council, went to SLU. Okay, so while my base, or my hovel for now, my hovel's there, I'm thinking establishing farm kind of in this area. It's raining! It is! Hello, Kevin. How are you? How are things at your end of the server? Did you cause this rain? Did you have someone do rain dance? Look at this map. Where can I get some water? Why is the river all the way over there? There's a lake there. Looks like there's a body of water kind of there. Oh, to my right. Cyprian Coon, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. Where the search? Place in St. Louis. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I've seen the stairs at Georgetown. About to evolve your dinkuts off. Bro, I'm still just trying to get food. Something wrong with your skin? I can see the back of your arm. No, everything's perfectly normal. It's just I have my sleeve rolled up. Oh, dang it, that's just gonna be one block. Hi, Flame. How are baby Pokemon made? Well, you leave a Ditto and a Pokemon at a daycare center, and you come back and you have an egg. Need food delivery? No, I'm enough of a rugged individualist and enough of an old Minecrafter that I'll do it myself. It's still weird having a map. There's some water there. I survived the early days by foraging some blueberries. Why do skills and whale lords produce a baby? Because of coding limitations. If I can, I am so getting a whale lord for my personal team. What are you? Why are you so big? Also, how do I switch my Pokemon from here? I guess I can... Let me show you how tiny this Lechonk is. No. Arrow keys up and down. Oh, okay. Look how tiny this Lechonk is. It's so tiny. As required of theological courses to undergrad took evil and demonic tradition Christianity, taught by Father Cleary. Required reading was possessed by a Nat Geo author. Sounds like it would be an interesting class. Oh, the water source is down there, isn't it? Yep, there it is. You can see the lights of my home base there, my hovel. From M. Scott Peck. You're in an Enderman, go poof. I can't run because I'm so hungry. No, that's okay, skeleton. You can leave me alone. No, 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 no. That Enderman must be an Abra. But I'm not the psychic type gem. I wish I was water type so I could have a team that was just 6 Blastoises. Oop, don't want to fall too far now. Although now that it's day, I guess I can just get to work. We got a Squirtle tool. Squirtle 2 Electric Boogaloo. Oh no, my stone shovel is so slow. Should enchant with efficiency 5. I should, but the problem is I don't even have somewhere to enchant. Oh. Bye, berry bushes. We hardly knew ye. I know there are more efficient ways of farming in Minecraft, but right now I just want to have a reliable source of wheat to get started. Okay, so this must be another mod that's messing with me on the UI. Just like, I'm not used to it. I don't know, my shadow's kind of pixelated. Or maybe that's just it against the dirt. Okay. Seeds I have up at the base, so I gotta go get those. Nah, it's just Steve is blocky. I'm not overweight, I'm just blocky. I should build like a staircase up here. wouldn't that be useful? Oh, I gotta go celebrate Mass after this. I just remembered. It's a good thing I did, and I have plenty of time. I am scheduled for the house Mass today. Is this not where my base is? I should really put a waypoint at my base, I think. What? What? Oh, I will throw these hamburgers over the ocean. Never. Thank you, Kevin. Now, where's my door? I think my door's over here. I mean, we did a Saturday Vigil Mass breach breach this year. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to Reach next year, though. I haven't been able to look at... The problem is that it's already basically sold out, and I'm not able to schedule that far in advance. More wheat seeds than that. There they are. Well, thank you for that, but let's... For now, I'm just gonna play it. Which cobble is this one? Cobblemon. I don't know which pack. Kevin curated the thing. Right, I need to do a thing first. I don't understand how I'm supposed to set a waypoint. Oh, there we go. Create waypoint. Yeah, I was just invited to this, and I was like, sure, sounds like fun. And I don't mean this in a bad way. Basically, everyone else who was invited to it and is a part of it, who are all awesome people, and you should be following them on twitch.tv/their various channels as well, knew mod Minecraft way better, and we're like, ooh, can we have this mod? Can we have this mod? And so Kevin did an awesome job compiling all the mods and putting it together. But I was also looking at the Discord chats about what mods are going on. I'm like, I don't know what any of this does. Never heard. Well, you've heard of Calmage, hopefully. He's in the chat right now. Yes, Kevin the Space Penguin. He's the bringer of mods. He is the host. He's doing a fantastic job at it. You didn't catch the list. It's CalMage, Kevin. Is Riff here? I don't remember if Riff's here. Stella Aurora, Kyle VT, Kevin CalMage, can you help me by writing some of these out in chat? Rufus and Fiba hasn't replied. Oh, he's probably busy. But as this project continues, probably get a good chance to encounter and meet folks. I'll probably be hopping into the Discord calls a couple of times. It's so dark. The mythical shaman has spawned. I don't know who that is. But they are mythical, apparently. And mythic rares are better than normal rares, as any good Magic the Gathering player knows. Okay, so now we have some food growing. Let's go surveil the ice area a little bit. Kind of keep an eye. That's a big Geode. Geodude. Gonna need to catch some of those snow Pokemon at some point, because I need to build up my gym teams. Oh, what's this spider Pokemon? Okay, so there's kind of a snowy forest over there. I want to build... That's kind of perfect. Because I kind of either want to build, like... Hey, there we go. CalMage has got the full list. Yeah, Ren does not stream. Yeah, so Kevin the Space Penguin, It's Inkazure, Ami Lawami, Breedy Bard, Hypnos, Flame Prince, Celaurora, Kyle, CalMage, Broseph Lacask. That's right, Broseph is here. And Halcyon Ward, and myself. So that's 12 people. And 13, including Ren. I kind of like what's going on over here with this peak. There's like a cave already. Because I originally envisioned maybe like an igloo or something, but maybe it's just an ice cave. Okay, it's not huge, but the theory stands. I will need a Silk Touch pickaxe to move this ice around. I did see the Icy Spire. That was really cool. I'm definitely going to have to be going to other ice areas, I think, to find more Pokemon, but... tell Rift that there are no pickles in this mod. Or if we really want him, I guess tell him there are pickles? I don't know. I don't... You just appeared out of nowhere. You're just a goat. Like, look, here's a regular goat. Aw, look at all the foxes. And triple damage. Can I build a prison, please? Probably not. Do you need someone in prison for a while? Is that what's going on? Where's the Opera House? Hey, welcome back, Gale. We are in a different server now, actually, because I was invited to a Cobblemon server. For Spycraft villagers? No. It's not imprisoning them. It's helping them to be their best selves by making mending books for you. Yeah, GameX. Minecraft goes good. We are currently... Memory is better. That follow more of you guys. And that's why I try to follow people even though I don't watch them too often. It's like... Twitch will remember for me. What else do I play? Well, on Mondays, it's RPGs, which right now is Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Tuesdays is Spirituality and Faith games, which the upcoming game will be Ominous Horizons, is the name of the game. It's a sequel to Catechumen, sort of. And Thursdays is Retro, which right now is Humongous Entertainment Games. Well, Trevor's going to kidnap the princess. What? Ice King maxing. Ah, okay. No. My character in universe is Major Ship something Kov. I need to learn how to pronounce it. Yeah, Backyard Sports was humongous. That was... They shifted into that. And it did really well, and then all of a sudden they just went bankrupt. No, he's a nice king. Oh, he's a nice king. I battle you. Where's my tiny pig? There's my tiny pig. Wonder if the licensing real athletes? Maybe. I think there was also... I think there was something else at play, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Try to catch this ice cream Pokemon. Oh. Hold down and B. Hold down and B. Hey, let's go. We caught ourselves our first ice type Pokemon. Will he be on the team in the end? I don't know. No, this is just vanilla light. It's just the... But there is a fun mod, as you saw with LeChuck. There is a mod that randomizes the Pokemon size. Look how tiny he is! What type of world is this? This is a Cobblemon world. It's, so it's like Pokemon in Minecraft. There's a lot of other mods going on. Am I a Christian? I absolutely am. I'm a Roman Catholic priest. I am a Christian. Have been my whole life. We are brothers in Christ. Amen. That looks like something floating out there. I'd love to do some more exploring in this world on stream, going around. But for now, I want to hide in my hovel. Am I a pastor? I am a priest, but I'm not a pastor, if that makes sense. So I am ordained, but I don't pastor a particular church. I work here in the media office of Busted Halo. So I'm kind of a digital pastor in that way, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna hide here in the hovel, so when I spawn in, I'm safe. I think that's the perfect place to call it for the day. But yeah, so thanks so much for tuning to let us... Oh, there's an ad break in progress. I'll say the goodbyes after the ad break is over. Got a lot of emails while I was streaming. But yeah, thank you to Kevin and Hal for inviting me to this server. Looking forward to it. Should be fun. Hey, you're most welcome, Love. Good to see you. Come on, overclocked. Hey, have fun with that. So, 15 more seconds on ad break. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I like what Hal has set up, which I think is very true to his bardic nature, because he's a bard VTuber. He's invited us, who are the gym leaders, to kind of have a character and build into it and have a team appropriate. So, should be a lot of fun. But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow as we play some humongous entertainment games. I don't know which one. What continent do I live in? I live in New York City, so North America. What was I going to say? Join us again tomorrow. It will start about half an hour-ish later. I've got a meeting to attend to before the stream. Unfortunately, it interfered, but sometimes it's all you can do. And then Monday, more Dream Drop Distance. Tuesday, we'll be starting Ominous Horizons. Cobblemon on Wednesday for Midweek Minecraft. And more Humongous Entertainments on Thursday. And I don't think there's any special things going on right now. So yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And let's see who's live that we can raid into. I'm gonna send John over to Halcyon Ward, since he is sort of the leader of the Cobblemon thing that I was just showing you. Raid call is either Father Raid or Cobblemon Raid, whichever you prefer. But go give Hal some love. He's playing some Dark Souls 3, so he is clearly suffering right now. But yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.